Hello, my name is Pramod of the CoinOp Collection, and today I'm going to be doing a July development update for you guys. So in July, we worked pretty much only exclusively on the Cave core. We've released a couple of games before in this Cave series. We've released Mazinger, for example, and also Sailor Moon. Right, we released those a couple months ago, I think. And basically, the focus for this month was getting like pretty much the rest of the games all booting and working, as best as we can. So in this cycle, we worked on 5 different games. So we worked on Air Gallet, we worked on Hot Dog Storm, we worked on Metamoqester, and then a couple of fighting games called Power Instinct 2 and Power Instinct Legends. Power Instinct 2 and Power Instinct Legends are not the same game, not even close, actually. They use some of the same graphics, but Power Instinct 2 is a one-to-one fighting game, and Power Instinct Legends is a tag team fighting game. Okay. They use pretty much the same characters. I think there's a couple of extra characters. There's definitely new graphics in Power Instinct Legends to spice things up. So that's what's going on there. So let me start with Hot Dog Storm. So Hot Dog Storm is a vertical shooter where basically you go from point A to point B. I don't think there's any real uh, you know unique or different mechanics about it. It's just you go from point A to point B and you just shoot things, right? Hot Dog Storm generally works pretty well, and I think that Josh may have released this previously when he was working on the cores. I think there were problems with it though. And one of the problems that existed with this game is the sound. So we fixed up the sound pretty well, and basically there was another interesting thing that I found when I was working on this title is that there is an actual issue with the 6295 implementation across the board in MAME and other emulators that exist today. It has not been corrected. Where the okay, so I'll show it to you in a minute. So basically, what happens is I'll show it to you right now. So basically, what happens is when you lose and you go to the game over screen, what happens is there's a sound that plays that's not supposed to be played, and also like there's like a high pitched noise that comes in for an unknown reason. So let me just show you. And by the way, this is one of the issues that's outstanding for Hot Dog Storm. Is you see that tearing on the right hand side when I move left and right and pan. So that's an issue with Hot Dog Storm today. So I'm just going to move very quickly and show you what the issue is. And, well, actually, what the issue looks like fixed. So, come on. Can't die fast enough, huh? Alright. Come on. Alright, so when you die, and you go to the game over screen, there's like a weird noise that seems out of place that plays and with the 6295. And it also has a high-pitched noise that continues as the high score screen goes. The high score screen should be perfectly silent. So I'll show you that right now. So it plays a jingle. Okay. So this screen is perfectly silent. This is fine. This is working properly. So what happens is on this particular screen, the game sends an invalid 6295 command. So the command that it sends is basically to play a sound on multiple channels, which is not possible according to the datasheet. So nothing should be done on that command at all, right? And so I fixed my implement. So we're using the X6295, which is our implementation of the 6295 in this core. And so we were able to fix it there and have the sound properly restored and working well. But anyway, yeah, the root cause is the game sends an invalid command for to play an invalid sample that doesn't exist. So it plays like some random sound somewhere, And on top of that, like it says to play it on multiple channels, which is not valid, right? In terms of the data sheet. So that's what that was what was fixed. So that's Hot Dog Storm. Let me go now to Air Gallet. Air Gallet is an interesting game. Basically, this has had an Exa Arcadia release recently. I think in the past couple months. No, not the past couple months. I think the past few months it has been released in Exa Arcadia. And it is it's a very interesting game. It's just it's a little plain Jane. So it's kind of like Raiden where you go from start to finish, and you just blow stuff up. I mean that's all there is to it. There's nothing really. I don't think there's rank in this game, and I think pretty much it is what it is, right? You go from start to finish, just blow stuff up. Now this game was problematic because of the interrupt sequence, and I think the interrupt sequence of events is also the same issue that's very problematic in Metamoqester, which is the last Oni, the last ninja. And also Power Instinct as well. It's just that these games are just very problematic from an interrupt perspective. So if the interrupts don't line up quite exactly as the game wants, it basically quits on you. It just doesn't go forward. So it has to be exact, otherwise it just doesn't work. So I fought with this for some time and figured it out. So we're good to go there. I think this is one of the more polished titles. A-Track worked a lot on all of these games actually. He doesn't only do testing; he does a lot of development work too. He balances the sound effects. He also takes a look at different sorts of issues, like with the graphics and other sorts of problems that he can resolve. So he kind of does do a lot of development on the cores, and he spends a lot of time testing them as well. And he finds like really interesting issues, and some of the issues that he finds are also coincidentally issues in the current working emulation in MAME as well. So it's very interesting. He's very good at what he does. And what's interesting is, and what's good is he's able to take it very far and fix the problem. So so that's a good those are some of the things that he does. In terms of doing it. But like basically we work like kind of round robin on these sorts of cores, not only this one but other cores as well. Like basically I'll take a look at the base platform and I'll like kind of start implementing it and try to get it booting and put in all the architecture and all that stuff. And then he'll go and start like going through it, start testing it, implementing more stuff on top of it, implementing the sound system, implementing the CPU, like other sorts of things that need to be like polished and implemented. He'll do that, and then we'll go around and start testing them and make sure we get it to be as perfect as we can get it. That's pretty much our our working pattern. And we generally, I mean, we're not really interested in releasing something that's subpar. I think that gets a little inundated, and I think that basically that is a waste of time. I mean, like, why would you play a broken game? I just don't think that's a good spend of time. I mean, it's interesting, like you can see graphics on the screen, but like you can also like load up MAME and do that too. I don't. So that's why I don't really see myself releasing something just because it's working. I want it to like work, be an enjoyable experience. It could have issues, sure. I mean, it doesn't have to be necessarily perfect, but it has to be as perfect as we can get it. And so that's what we do. So let me just go through this a little bit. This was also a problem. Like if you hold the button, like it should accelerate the frames. But if the interrupts are wrong and they're not quite exactly right, that gets screwed up badly. And the layers are all out of order. It's all spikes too on top of that stuff. So this is just a plain Jane like shooter. There's nothing really ambitious about this. But I can sneak it in. You can hold down the button, but there's not really a rapid fire. This is, I think, one of the more polished titles that we've done in this last cycle. It looks pretty well, I would say. But you don't have to press the button extremely fast to have like some rapid fire. I'll just wait for the laser. Oh, that landed. So yeah, so this is Gallet. And I think this is probably going to be the first of the series that we're going to release of the cave stuff that we've done because it's the most polished. Okay. Alright, so let's go now to Metamoqester, which is also called Oni, the Ninja Master. Now, this is a very problematic game that I spent a lot of time on. And it also needs interrupts, to be exact, because there's 2 interrupts. What's different about this game compared to the other games is that this game has 2 interrupts that the game uses to synchronize its graphics layers. So basically, there's an interrupt that occurs in the beginning of VBlank, and then there's an interrupt that occurs at the end of VBlank. In all these games, like basically, they're all double buffered sprites. So what happens is after you do like the second interrupt, or I guess it would be the first interrupt at the VBlank level, what happens is the game says, okay, sometime later, not like immediately after you do that. I think it takes like 8 lines or something before it says, it gives you a signal on an address bus line, where like it says, okay, now I want you to swap buffers, right? And when it do that, you have to basically draw the contents of the previous buffer of sprite RAM, not the current one that it tells you it's going to write to. So this game is actually 2 frames behind, compared to the other games. Across the board, though, the sprite frame buffer in this core is one of the things we did not get rid of just yet. We got rid of a lot of things in this core. A lot of it is rewritten. Most of it, actually. The only thing that's not rewritten is the sprites. It's a very highly complicated thing, actually, in this core. This is probably the most complicated sprite engine that I think has ever been written across any core that's out there. And it's very complicated. One part of it actually is a full pixel frame buffer to DDR memory, which is very problematic because it's double buffered. Yes, like so you start drawing stuff to your sprite frame buffer, and you swap buffers, but you can't start drawing to the other side of the buffer until it's been cleared. So there's a period of clearing that you have to account for when you swap the buffers. And in these types of games, like in this game in particular, the game uses a lot of large sprites, and it uses actually most of the sprites in the queue. So it's actually a lot more than the other games. A lot of the other games use a lot of 8 by 8 tiles for their sprites. This one uses a lot of like the bigger tiles and bigger sprite chains that create a lot of large objects. So you can easily run out of time because like the only time you could really swap the buffer is at VBlank, because if you swap it in the middle, your display becomes corrupted, right? Because it's reading from that side. And if you're doing it at VBlank, then you have to wait for the other side to clear. So that already takes you toward the end of VBlank. And so the only time you could really start rendering stuff is post VBlank. And so you only get post VBlank to the start of VBlank. So you get one active display to really do stuff. And for these types of games, it's not actually enough time. It's almost enough time, but it's not quite enough time. So there's a lot of improvements we can make with that system. Generally, I'm not a fan of a full frame buffer. I don't think that should be done anyway because like none of these boards actually work like that. It's all like scanline rendering. I think the tile layers in this core are scanline rendered, um, but the sprites are a full frame buffer in from a pixel perspective into DDR. So let me just start this up and let me just show you what this game looks like. This guy is kind of weird. He's got a gun and he's got like a staff. So these games are very hard. This and Power Instinct, which I'm going to show you next, is actually very hard. His ninja attack is like a gun. That's a strong attack. This game usually is actually 4 buttons. You can shoot guns here too. You can dash too like this and like a dash attack. I'm doing better than I usually do. This game is hard. It's like a butt masher. And this game is actually like Warzard. If you ever heard of that. So for the CPS3, there's a game called Warzard, and basically that's a dramatic battle type of game. This is not like an RPG or anything like that, but it's like kind of a dramatic battle where it's like 2 players versus one boss. And it's all boss battles really. So this is Oni. So it's kind of structured like a fighting game. There's no RPG elements or anything. It's structured like a fighting game. It's just that it's more of a dramatic battle. Okay, so that's that. Let's go now to Power Instinct 2. So Power Instinct 2, and you can see the residual effects of this frame buffer. This happens when you switch cores at the end of the cycle, and the frame buffer hasn't entered a new cycle to clear itself. So it has to enter a new cycle, which is when sprites get drawn. This Atlas screen is the first time when sprites ever get drawn in this core. So Power Instinct 2 and Power Instinct Legends is basically a parody fighting game. You know, as you can see, probably. It's a very interesting game, I think. It's not, I mean, mechanics-wise, it's not really very complicated. It's just that it's just what it is. It's a parody fighting game. It's an interesting parody fighting game. Nothing really was problematic about this. It's just that it has a special text layer that not any of the other games had, so that had to be implemented. It uses a special system for the palette, which had to be implemented. Let me just show you a little bit of what's going on here. So I'll pick this guy. Well, they say, you know, this guy is like Terry Bogard, right? Like his moves are pretty much like Terry Bogard. This guy is like T-Hawk, if you can believe that. So I'll just pick this guy, Keith Wayne. He's like Terry Bogard. Seriously, all his moves are like Terry Bogard. The inputs too are like Terry Bogard. So, I don't know. But you see, like, one of the problems that exists in the core is not only like the performance of the sprites, because there's lots of them on the screen, but like basically, oh man, how do you do that? But like you see the people in the back, they're supposed to like be synchronized and dance to the music, and there's a special series of events that happen with that mechanic. So basically, there's an interrupt that occurs for the YM chip, and the interrupt is signaling the Z80, and then the Z80 sends the commands. There's like a command acknowledgement system for the Z80 to send buffered sound responses to the 68K. So that's how it knows what to do. I think it mostly works here, but it's not always perfect. So whoops. So yeah, so it almost works, but it's not perfect yet. So that's something we need to figure out what's going on with, you know, in this core. Is the dancing mechanic. But yeah, that's Power Instinct 2. What is that move? Oh, that's not the move. there's a move that he does like that's like exactly like Terry Woods. Yeah, well, it looks kind of different actually. Yeah, you see that's like the rising tackle. He's got like the Kim Kaplan in there too. I don't know. He's got a bunch of moves from a couple of different guys, but like he's basically Terry Woods. That's what I was trying to say. But anyway, yeah, that's Power Instinct 2. And Power Instinct Legends finally is basically the same game, but it's a tag team game as opposed to a 1v1 fighting game. And as you can see, the residuals from the frame buffer, sprite frame buffer, are there until the sprites get drawn for the first time, which is this atlas screen. Nothing wrong with the sound. I think the sound was actually a problem in these two games because the sound is larger than in other titles, so we had to increase the size of the address across the board. So this is Power Instinct Legends. As you can see, it's very parody. So it's a parody fighting game. Pretty much the same game, only it's a tag team game. So I'll press start. You can see I had a lot of problems with the flickering in this game. Because, like I said, it's just, the sprites are just very weird across both of these titles. So you see the guys in the back are supposed to dance. Why did you put this one? Yeah, they're supposed to dance and synchronize with music. I don't know that happens most of the time, but like there are cases where it either doesn't happen or it happens. Wow. Who is this person? All right. It happens either it happens most of the time, but like sometimes the wrong dance moves come about. I don't know. It's just not synchronized properly, so that's one of the issues we have to kind of fix. It's not a showstopper, but like we'd like to get that to work. This guy looks like an older version of Gallet. I don't even know who this guy is. Is he the other guy? I'm just not doing good at this at all. I've never really played this. They can dash too. Oh, can. Oh, there's blood too. Huh. Yeah, so anyway, that's Power Instinct Legends. That's how far we got with that. So it works. So like all these games work pretty much for the most part. It's just that there are little problems here and there that prevent it from being perfect. But I think it's a very playable. I think these are all very playable games. And so I just wanted to give a development update as far as where we are with these titles. So we look forward to releasing them over the next several weeks as we polish them and see how far we get. But I think basically we are limited as far as how we can go, how much we can go, because essentially we're limited by the sprite frame buffer at this point until we get rid of it, and we will get rid of it because we are planning like pocket releases for these games. So I mean, we have to get rid of it at some point. We will get rid of it at some point. So basically, we will go ahead and do that. But that's just going to take time. That's very hard to do. Wow, these graphics are really cool. These are really interesting graphics. I love the graphics in this game. The mechanics, like the game will wreck you. Like it's very jank. It'll wreck you pretty much pretty easily. The backgrounds can be interacted with. There's dancing back there that's synchronized. Like there's a lot of little touches in these games that the mechanics aren't the best in the game. It's still considered a pretty jank game by standards. But the amount of detail that we have in the fighting is really good. It's really interesting. So anyway, so that's the development update for July, and yeah, we look forward to bringing these to you pretty soon, hopefully in the next several weeks, as we polish these.